Hi, I am Healy Means. Hold on just one moment, please. All right. Hi, I'm Healy Means. Welcome to today's live stream. I am here with Joy of the Gardening Home. And today we are talking about gardener burnout. Now, it is the last day of June. And for most of us, whether you were outside working in the garden or inside planning for the garden, come January 1st, you were doing some gardening things. And now we are officially halfway through the year. And some of us, if not all of us, have experienced at least a minor amount of gardener burnout. We have been planting, charting, diagramming, shopping, buying supplies, sowing seeds, checking seeds, soil pH, um, transplanting, even some harvesting. And even though it's only halfway through the year, some of us are already burnt out. And so we want to talk about it. Joy will be with us momentarily. I see Robin. Thank you for joining us today. GT Jr. Grows in Alaska. Appreciate you for being here. Mike's Chaotic Gardening. Definitely appreciate everybody being here. And y'all let me know. Just let's get started. Let's talk about gardener burnout. I have gardener burnout already, but it's like a different kind of burnout. So this year, I started my garden very, very late. If you go back and look at some of my earlier videos, it was April, and I believe I was just starting to sow seeds. Now I'm in Southern California, zone 10B/11A, and y'all, today is feeling a lot more like 11A than 10B. But I spent a lot of time the end of last year and to all the way through the spring of this year, um, acquiring fruit trees. Y'all, and I went crazy. Every time I turned around, I don't know where they came from, but I was getting more fruit trees. So my focus was on the fruit trees. Some kind of way they was arriving in my yard. Um, but then I had to pot them, look at the kind of soil that they needed, just all of that kind of stuff because my fruit trees are in containers. I do have three fruit trees that are in the ground, and they are well established. But the rest of the fruit trees that I have, and I have a assortment of them. I have citrus, I have stone fruit, I have different kind of fruit trees. So that's what my focus was. And the time, y'all, the days, the weeks, the months were passing by, and I felt like I was totally behind. For the last live stream we did, which was about a month ago, because we didn't have one 2 weeks ago, we were talking about gardener gripes. One of my gripes was the weather. So not only was I spending the time focusing on fruit trees, the weather, I feel like it also delayed me starting my 2025 garden. And by the time I got to the point of sowing seeds in April, y'all, like I was burnt out. Then the first round of seeds didn't go as well as I thought, or so I thought. So I started a second round of seeds. And wouldn't you know, around the second half of May, y'all, why the seeds from the first 140 something seeds that I sowed, a lot of them germinated. Well, by that time, I had already started a second round of, I think, almost 50 seeds germinated. So now I have all of these seedlings. Y'all, it's getting hot. I'm working on my beautification project. Y'all see, we mixing gripes with burnout, but the gripes plus all the work that I've been doing, plus the weather, plus the fruit trees, y'all, I'm burnt out. It's only June 30th. I'm tired. We still have a whole nother half a year to go. And by me being in a zone where I can grow year round, and because I started late, I'm feeling like I got to catch up. Y'all, I'm burnt out. Let's see. G Mama Grows, thank you for being here. I appreciate that. Oh Mike, you say that always happens to me. What? You was starting late or the weather or you getting distracted? Did you buy a bunch of fruit trees? Because I know them squirrels. Them squirrels probably gonna eat your fruit. You better be careful with them. I do have y'all, let me make sure that I have it right. So if you want to come up in the chat, nope, that's the wrong one. This one right here, if you want to come up in the live stream, I do have the link down there at the bottom. It's also posted on my community post on my YouTube channel, and it should be in the description of this video. But if you don't see it, let me see. I think I can also put it in the comment section. So let me do that. If you want to come up in the live stream and share some of your gardener burnout, or you know what, you might be that person who doesn't have gardener burnout. You refresh, you rocking and rolling, like you still going at 100%. Please share your secrets. Share your secrets. And it's something about this year, because I don't know, in previous years, I don't think that I would say either I didn't recognize it or I didn't acknowledge it, or maybe it just wasn't a thing in my head, gardener burnout, but it is this year. It is. Now, Robin says, never had so many weeds in my gardens. It's the dang cottonwood tree and the maple tree seeds. The bunny fencing adds a level of interference to get to them as I see them. Makes me deflated. Yes. Now, for me, because I do the majority of my gardening in raised beds and containers, I don't have as many weeds. But in my fruit tree containers, y'all, I have I believe it's called spruce. It's called spruce because I looked it up, and it constantly grows in the fruit tree container pots. Y'all looking, I'm looking outside like I could see it from here. I can't see it from here unless it's hanging over the side. But I feel like I got more weeds in my container pots than I have in previous years. So, and G Mama says I've had it with those tree seeds too. Yeah, yeah. Mike says all, but mostly I start things. Nothing grows, or I think it's dead, so I start more. Exactly. That's what's happening to me right now. And the particular vegetable is tomatoes. Y'all, I'm looking right out here out my window, and I'm gonna do a backyard shenanigans video. I wanted to do it today because it's the last day of June, but I think it's gonna have to wait until tomorrow because I have just like a few more things that I need to do. But I'm gonna do that, and I'm gonna show y'all all of these tomato seedlings that I have, in addition to the tomato plants that I already have. I don't have space for them, y'all, but guess what? I am going to up pot and up pot and up pot. Right now, I think I have them in, I believe this is 3-inch pots, squares and circles, y'all. I don't discriminate. But I have I have them in those containers. And I was on Craigslist, y'all, because I'm not on social media, so I don't have Facebook. I heard Facebook Marketplace is a really good, place to find deals. And I know they have some apps and stuff like that, but I don't have any of that. So I looked on Craigslist in my local area for 1 gallon nursery pots. And I'm also looking for like 40 to 65 gallon pots for my bananas, for my banana plants. So because I will grow those tomatoes in a 1 gallon pot, get what I get. If I get one tomato, I feel like it's worth it, because that one tomato gonna have like 5,000 seeds in it, and it'll be worth it. So we have weeds. That's definitely something that will wear you out. And let's ask Joy, what is wearing her out? What has her with the garden burnout?
YouTube's wearing me out.
Yes. Yes, I agree on that.
Because we, as creators, we feel a certain responsibility to produce content and, have something to show for. And that's good. The
Mhm.
accountability and everything. That definitely is a good driving factor for me to continue gardening and all. But yeah, it definitely adds to the burnout for sure.
I was saying, I think I mentioned this in maybe a vlog in a car video or whatever. I was saying how it was easier for me off the cuff to record a garden video than it is for me to record a natural hair video, because with the natural hair video I feel like I have to, get so much stuff together and all of that. But when you don't have anything in your garden to show,
Yeah.
or if your garden is like 90% under construction,
Hmm.
the gardening content, is sparse. I try to put up like a YouTube short or put up a post or something like that. But I mean, this year, I mean, I feel like I'm burnt out before I even really start. I feel like just now, maybe in the past 2 weeks,
Yeah,
I'm just now starting my 2025 garden.
I feel that.
And
Yeah.
yeah, I'm just uh what's Mike said helicopter seeds got him this year. What's that?
The maple.
Are
Those
those,
are
is that
maple
like
seeds.
the little wish? Oh, maple. Okay, okay. Well, yeah,
Maple.
y'all. Well, I don't have I don't have any trees like that around here. Y'all, it's so
Right.
dry. It is so dry and warm. I'm not gonna say hot because I know like hot, heat, whatever is relative, but it is warm and it's dry out here. My neighbor has palm trees
Ah,
that are like folding over in to my yard. But it ain't really bothering me. But the one he got over there look like it's coming over and it might touch one of my banana trees. So that one. But as far as like trees, I don't have any. Well, I have the cherry tree, I have the apple tree, I have the little bitty lemon tree. But as far as like huge trees and stuff, I don't have that on my property, and we really don't have that too much in our neighborhood.
yeah.
Um,
Yes, I
but
was
let's
listening
see,
to you as I was trying to figure
Menards.
out my computer situation here, but I couldn't do it. The the thing
Mm-hmm.
wouldn't connect to the to the camera, so I'm on my phone. But you were saying about, well, you were saying everything. But for me,
Yes.
but you just said about like it just your season's just starting. And I feel like I just finished putting in like my summer crops in, like the tomatoes and the corn and the eggplants. I feel like I just did that yesterday, and the month just like flew by. Like, granted, we had, certain days that was super rainy, so you couldn't do anything, and then the super heat wave, and you couldn't do anything. So it feels like there was only like 10 days in June, and then it was done.
Mm-hmm.
So
And see,
yeah,
you know what? And I saw that. Yeah, that was all on the news about the heat wave. It literally was everywhere in the
yeah,
country
but you.
except the Southwest where I am.
Hmm.
We were the only area that didn't get, the extreme heat and
Yeah.
the heat wave and all of that kind of stuff. And we also didn't get the rain.
Hmm.
Because now that's the thing. I just talked to my dad just a few minutes before we started this live stream, and it's still raining in New Orleans. It's been raining on and off, and I heard, T Nog say it too on her videos, Miss Linda, how it's thunderstorming and storm, but it was so hot. The rain was welcome, but
Yeah.
now,
Right.
it's like a lottery. But I will take some of that rain. I will take some of that rain. GT Junior says it's 57 degrees where he is in Alaska. Now,
Uh,
I mean, and I put in a chat, I was like, you 5'7", like like a five? Just no. If it's below 70,
right.
I'm putting
It's
on
too cold.
jackets, parkas, gloves, hats, snow boots, you know. Robin is saying it's a YouTube creator thing. She was filming in the heat. Yeah, should have been inside in the AC. Yep, yep, yep.
Yeah,
And
and
like I said, I
looking.
know it's not.
Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, what's the temperature by you right now in New York?
It's probably high 80s. It's not terrible, but it's still hot. You
Mhm.
hot is hot.
It's the low 80s. Yeah, it's the low 80s here, and we gasping for breath. It's 80s. Hold up. You know how they say the South California, Southern California, sunny and 72. What's the weather like today? Sunny and 72, sunny and 72. When it gets to 75, people like, 78, girl, And then when you see an 8, mm-mm, no, no, no. And it's about
Yeah,
83 degrees right now. I want to be outside doing things in the garden, but oh
mhm,
no, no,
right.
no, nah.
So I'm looking forward to any rain that comes. Like I do appreciate the rain because that means it's one less time that I'm hand watering something. And as much as I love to drag the hose around, I'd rather not. And like I like to hand water because you really get
Mhm,
down and dirty with the plant and you see, oh, this is getting too weedy or there's too much pest here. So let me, you know,
mhm.
take care of that now while I'm here. Whereas when you're with a hose, you're just blah 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 and watering everything all at once. So you're not really getting that personal with your plants. So
I don't have an irrigation system. I think my garden spaces are too spread out. I'm sure that
yeah.
there's an irrigation system that will work for my setup. It'll probably be $1 zillion.
Yeah.
And I have garden on both sides of my house. So
Mhm.
at some point, the irrigation tubing, the wiring, whatever you want to call it, what have to go across the backyard. No
Mhm.
tripping hazard. That's
Yeah.
okay. I water, but I'm gonna tell you something else that burnt me out. Dragging that heavy bleep, the bleep, bleep, bleep water hose. I had the one, I think it's made out of like Goodyear tire material, whatever. It's like this super duper, it's like heavy duty. You could step on it, you could roll over it. You almost could like cut it with a knife. It's so thick, you would have to, really get into it,
Yeah.
to damage it. But it's so heavy. And like
Yeah.
I said, I have garden on both sides of my house. The back, the front of the back, lugging that thing all over the place. Is falling over this, is getting caught up on that,
Right.
is dragging in the swimming pool, of course, with dirt and mud and
Um,
everything else on it.
mhm.
So I went to I think I got it from Amazon, and I got one of those, the silver, like slinky
Oh yeah, yeah.
metal
Yeah,
thing.
I got that.
No, 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 y'all. No, I got it from Temu. I got it from Temu. It's
Oh
a
no.
100 foot. It's a
Yeah.
100 foot, that metal. It remind me of a slinky, but or like a I don't know, like a anyway, it is so lightweight.
Mhm.
It does not kink, it does not tangle. I can get it across the whole, it goes everywhere my garden is. And I'm like, why didn't I buy this sooner? I had seen those hoses, and actually at my community garden, that's what they have over there. And I
Okay.
kept saying, oh yeah, this is so nice. I'm gonna get it. I'm gonna get it. Well, guess what? I was burnt out from dragging that hose, especially doing my little beautification. Y'all, I can't wait for y'all to see it. It looks like a backyard and a garden for me is supposed to look, because y'all know for the past 2 years, my garden been looking like I should be on Sanford and Son. Uh, but now, I got burnt out with my backyard and my garden looking like it looked. And so through a lot of hard work, blood, sweat, and tears, dragging people to help me. Um,
Mhm.
we have something, but that was a burnout for me, with my garden being in complete disarray.
Right.
And just, because the cropping and zooming and the editing I had to do for my backyard shenanigan videos, yo, pointing the camera down as I went past like the junky part of the yard. Come on now, I'm gonna tell it. That might not be nobody else's yard, but I'm gonna tell the truth. I'm gonna tell the truth. Um, let's see. Robin says the rain keeps splitting and going around us. If we could
Ah,
use a nice
dang.
2 day gentle rain session. Yeah, yeah. You know what? I would take any rain. But it's not gonna happen for us unless we get a storm off the Pacific. Usually it comes up from Mexico sometime between like the end of June, which is now, and
Okay.
like November. Unless we get one of those storm systems or something, there will be no rain until about Thanksgiving.
Wow.
So we might get 0.05 mist 1 or 2 days, but that's
Right.
it. Yeah, that's it.
That's a bummer. Oh,
Oh,
didn't.
Robin said that the horse left black scuff marks everywhere. Now I didn't see the scuff marks, but that thing and it's heavy. I mean, I get it, it's heavy duty, it's unbreakable, all of that kind of stuff, but it does twist, it does kink, and yeah. I'm so glad. I am so glad. I've been having this new hose, the little, I call it a slinky hose. I know that's not the name of it, but it just remind me of a slinky. But I've been having it for about a week, and y'all, I will never, yeah, yeah, I will never go back. I'm putting that one, well, it's in the garage now, but I'll use that to like wash the car and stuff with. That's it.
I'm curious about those hoses that like shrink up when they're not being used, and then they get long when you put
Girl,
water in them. How's
okay,
that?
I'm burnt out. I'm burnt out on those
Oh, okay.
because yes, they slinky and they pretty and they, shrink small inside. And as soon as you get one nick in it, the whole
Uh
hose is done. It can be the size of a I don't know, a sewing pin,
huh.
and the whole hose is done. Yeah, I went through at least two, maybe three of those.
Okay.
And no, do not, no, don't
Okay.
waste your money. Anybody in the chat, y'all, you know what we talking about, because it's kind of like a cloth material on the
Yeah.
outside, and like it shrinks up when you don't have water in it, so you can put it on your hose holder or whatever, and then when you fill it with water, it expands out to whatever length, and it's supposed to be, such a fabulous garden tool. No, y'all, no, no. Leak, 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 leak. And I try, me, waste not, want not. I tried tape. I tried to like put some of the material together and kind of like sew it closed a little bit. Y'all,
All right.
I'm not ashamed. I'm not ashamed, but it didn't work.
Okay.
Don't
Good to
do it.
know. Good to know.
Mm-mm.
Oh yeah, and Robin says they were leaky. Yep.
Very, very leaky. Oh, Mike said, Mike, you growing mushrooms? Tell us about that. I've been watching a couple of videos. That must be something that's coming in like the rotation, because I've been getting a lot of growing mushroom videos in my feed. And
Oh,
also like the garden podcast that I listen to on Spotify. Um a lot of people talking about growing mushrooms. I don't know, is it like a specific season? Like, is this the time to grow mushrooms, or maybe a lot of people are interested in doing that? So I've been getting a lot of the videos and podcasts in my feed about growing mushrooms. He say
right.
unintentionally. Not, but are they edible, Mike? Because that's all I want to know. Just, are they edible? That's all. Is it so? Is this the edible like grocery store mushrooms, or we this mushrooms for other stuff? Just don't answer that. Don't answer that.
Yeah, I've
Don't
seen
answer that.
like more mushrooms, but they're definitely not something I'm going to eat because I don't know
Mhm,
what they are or anything. But the actual mushrooms that I know are edible, like I planted that in the spring, like when it was still cooler.
mhm,
Yeah. So
yeah.
I won't see that
You know what?
till maybe the
Oh,
fall.
the fall. Oh, I don't. I think it's
Well,
too
you don't have
dry out. Yeah, we would have to. I don't know. Like, can you grow mushrooms in like a greenhouse? I'm trying to think somewhere where I would have to make it artificially humid. It's too
right.
dry
Yeah.
to like grow them, out in the open. I probably would have to make some kind of artificial. humid environment. I
Yeah.
had something else I wanted to say about being burnt out, and I forgot what it was. I think I'm just burnt out thinking. I'm y'all, I'm burnt out thinking. I'm so glad that I'm finished with most of the renovation for the garden. But that process burnt me out.
Mm.
It did. And now I need the strength to continue on with the rest of the growing season because
Yeah.
y'all, a lot of people, the summer crops are already in the ground or in the starter cup, and like you mentioned on your recent video, you're thinking about the fall now.
Yeah.
So if you burnt out, like at this point for the summer, how do you keep going? What are your
Okay.
tips and tricks? What's your motivation? How do you keep going to make it through the rest of the season?
I'm not even like, I'm trying to just look forward to some harvest. Actually, I'm like,
Yeah.
all right,
Hmm.
they're in the ground. Now I can like almost have something to eat that's juicy and sweet and or whatever. But I'm just, holding out for that. Like every little flower is like, oh, there it is, a promise of something, a harvest.
Yeah.
Oh, what I'm
I
looking
have.
forward to
Oh,
right away is the garlic harvest because that's going to be like next week. This week, next week is going to be garlic harvest for me.
mhm.
So that's something to keep me going.
Well, you know what? I had the elephant garlic that I had to pull up. I believe it was the end of April or the beginning of May because of the black aphids, which burnt me out. Because my understanding, I mean, I know elephant garlic is not a true garlic, but it's related, it's
Yeah,
adjacent in the allium family somewhere. I mean, and I thought that aphids didn't like
I know, right?
alliums or allium adjacent, but guess what? The black aphids do.
Mm.
They do. And that burnt me out. So I had to pull them early. They were a fraction of the size I know that they would have been because this would have been about the time, like for the July. This,
Hmm.
but about this time would be
Yeah.
when I would be pulling them up. But I mean, and I would spray water hose spray, right?
Yeah.
Because I was trying not to put any chemicals, on it. I should have did the diatomaceous earth, but I didn't. But I would spray. The numbers would be cut down for like a couple days, and then I would come back, and it's like they had 3 times more. I mean, the whole green stalk stem, the whole thing was black. I was like,
Wow.
hold on. It was it burnt me out. It burnt me out. Now Robin said this year was burning me out in the beginning as I had to reseed so many things compared to normal years. I swear vendors are selling older seed.
I do
Big
believe
motivation
that.
to expand, saving my own. You know what? A lot of people been saying that. A
Yeah.
lot of people been saying that because germination levels
Hmm.
this year specifically have been noticeably lower than in previous years.
Mm.
Now, if you watch the news or just, kind of get a glimpse, we gardeners, so we, certain things perk our ears.
Yeah.
But if you recall last year, um, a lot of news was saying, oh, this crop failed, this crop failed, this crop is short, this crop failed. Well, if those crops are short or they
Right.
fail, then that's gonna mean less seeds.
Right.
It's gonna mean less seeds. And I'm not saying that any company would do this, but I could see how we may have purchased older seeds with the current date.
Right.
I'm just gonna say, read on the line because not even in between it. Just read, read on the line.
No, I feel
Mm,
that because definitely have a bunch of seeds that haven't germinated. I know you always
mhm,
blame yourself because it's like, oh, I didn't water it enough, or oh, maybe something ate it. But when a lot of people are saying
mhm.
the same thing, you're gonna have to just say, oh, it wasn't my fault. It's not me.
A lot of people are saying it. Now, Joy, let's take a break right quick, and I just want you to just bring me back to some sanity. What burnt me out? The 2025 Rice Challenge. Burnt me out, Joy. When I tell you not one.
Oh
Not
no.
one seed germinated. But I will say those were 2023
Oh, okay.
rice
Okay.
seeds. And I know that certain crops, certain vegetable, herb,
Right.
grains, whatever, some of, the seeds are viable for longer than others, or a higher percentage of the seeds are, viable for a longer period. Some of them 1 year, 2 year, 5 year. Um, but I planted, when I finally did get to sowing my seeds, the majority of the seeds that I have sown are 2021, 2022, and 2023 seeds.
Yeah.
Those tomato, y'all, the large fruited cherry tomatoes, those are 2021 seeds. They have not let me down, not once. And I've been planting them since 2020. I've been sowing them since 2021.
Right.
They are prolific beyond measure. Maybe it's just that seed, maybe it's just that variety of tomato. I don't know. But 2025 Rice Challenge was a complete fail. I mean, when I say complete fail, y'all, I'm talking about complete fail. The only thing I could see is that the birds came and like plucked out every rice grain. I'm gonna try again though. I'm gonna try again. I will not be defeated by the rice grains.
No.
I'm not. I'm gonna do my own challenge. This is the redeemed 2025 Rice Challenge. Something gonna sprout. I'm gonna get it. But it burned me out. It burned me out. I was sad too because you
I
had success with your challenge.
right. The ones I like pre-sprouted. The ones I dumped directly into the pot, it's only now coming up and it's definitely
Mhm,
looking thin. So
mhm,
I still have a little ways to say whether it's the seeds or whether they got all plucked out or I don't know what happened. But I don't know. It
mhm.
could be another one of those maybe those seeds weren't so great type situations.
Well, you know what? And I still, so the bucket is still there.
Mhm.
The bucket is still there. I mean, at this point, I consider that I have failed, but I don't have the heart in me to empty the bucket. So it's still there.
Yeah.
And I still throw on it every once in a while. I mean, maybe it'll be like my first round of seeds that I sowed, because I sowed all of those seeds in April and it just seemed that they were not doing anything. So I sowed more seeds, what, maybe the middle to the end of May, or
Mhm.
maybe even like the first week of June. And then after I sowed the second set of seeds, of course, then, some of the first seeds. So it's almost like they were dormant waiting.
Mm.
The
Okay.
weather had been crazy though. The weather has been crazy. I feel like the weather was late. I feel like the weather was burnt out. The weather was burnt out from last year. And so it took longer to come into this year.
Mhm.
So I feel like the weather was burnt out. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
If anybody wants to come up in the live stream, please come up. I will see you like backstage or whatever they call it. Come up and
Yeah.
say hi. You don't have to stay on too long, but just come up and say hi. Let us know how you doing. Robin says plant calendula near the black aphid loving plants. It's an awesome trap crop. And I did that. I didn't have a lot though. And the oh, what do you call those things? With the pinchers? They
Oh,
don't they don't pinch you, but it's
earwig?
like a centipede.
Oh.
Yes. So
Oh,
the
okay.
earwigs ate the calendula.
Oh no.
And then and so the aphids was like, okay, I guess we just gonna stay with the elephant
Right.
garden thing. It just, yeah, y'all.
Mm. Oh,
But y'all,
let's not forget that like the intensity of the sun is helping to drain us during this time of year. Because I feel like I can't stay out for very long without being just like drained so quickly. Whereas in the earlier spring, it was like I could stay out here for hours. But yeah, definitely like middle of the day, I feel like I sometimes I do take a nap because I'm just out of it. I have no energy whatsoever. And I think it's the sun, and we forget to hydrate and everything. So that is keep in mind.
I'm gonna say this too. So while the rest of the country was going through like the heat, the
Mhm.
heat temperatures, we are experiencing flashlight brightness of the sun. It is so bright outside, and it's too bright to be out there. I
Oh,
mean, it's
wow.
warm, but
Yeah.
it's not the temperature that's, the deal here. It's the brightness of the sun.
Mhm.
That's probably what happened, girl. I look like a whole different person. I passed through the mirror the other day. I was like, who is that? I thought that was my shadow coming behind me, but it was me. Definitely extra
Mhm.
tanned out of all of my little foundation, my little two little products I use. I can't do it. But yeah, the brightness of the sun. Has anybody else experienced that? Like not just the heat, but the sun itself being like extra bright? Because we definitely have that here.
Mhm.
Like the meteorologist even mentioned it on the local news like a
Oh,
couple weeks ago. It's been like super bright and the sun rises at like 5:30. And it's not, like a gradual, dawn into the light. No, it's like it's pitch black, and then somebody flip the light switch, the sun pop up, and it is like super bright at 5:30 in the morning.
wow.
And I think the sun set close to 8 o'clock here
Mhm.
in my area. Hmm. Yeah, Mike says super high UV index. Yeah,
Right.
I'm not gonna say the S word. I'm just gonna skip past the whole thing with the sun. I'm gonna skip past the whole thing because I already made like a comment on it. I probably lost subscribers and everything, so I don't want to talk about it. But Joy, we gotta focus on, and if you in the chat, please let us know what do you do? What's your tips and tricks? What's your motivation for getting through the burnout and making it through the rest of the garden season? Because most of us are still gonna plant in the fall, not
Mhm.
just harvest, but also plant. So what are we doing to make it through the rest of this garden year? And
So
Joy,
for
I'm gonna kick it
me,
over to you first because I have no idea what I'm doing. I don't know.
actually looking like these little projects, I feed off of the little projects that you can start and finish quickly. So the fall project is, or the fall sowing is one of those small things where, one day I'll sift soil and the next day I'll fill the little containers. Like I'm definitely more mindful of like not doing everything all at once. I'm really like break things up because I have time. I have all, like at least have 2 weeks, if not the whole month of July to like start getting these seeds in. So
Hmm.
I'm trying to pace
So
myself
is
there.
that oh, I'm sorry. Is that gonna be direct sowing or are you doing seed starts? How
I have
how
to
do
do
you do
seed
that?
starts. I've
Uh-huh.
failed enough times with direct sowing with the critters that just, if the seed makes it to popping up stage, then a couple of days later those
Uh-huh.
greens are gone. So I just can't. I've I've got to learn my lesson at some point and just stop wasting seeds. So I have to seed, in the ground. This is like in ground. If it was
Uh-huh.
an above ground, like a raised bed situation, then
Yeah.
I have a better handle on it. But the the fall crops tend to be in ground, so I have to
Mhm.
do them. I had in containers first.
Now,
So
do you do them in your greenhouse? Because you have a greenhouse set up outside now,
right,
don't you?
yeah, I'm gonna
So
do
do
it
you
there.
so you do it outside? Now, I'm gonna tell you this, and I don't mean to break in, but my little brain, and if I don't say it now, I'm gonna forget it.
Yeah.
The little greenhouse that I bought, the thing that I ordered from Home Depot, and they sent me the wrong thing, but I
Yeah.
just ended up keeping it. I started some seeds in there when I did the April thing. And
Mhm.
so the seeds germinated, but like not long after I don't know, but I think I figured it out. So it's white plastic. It's not
Mhm.
like the green, kind of green covering. It's white plastic. Girl, I unzipped that thing and almost passed out. That nearly burnt me, let alone burning me out. It was so hot in
Mm,
there. I don't, and I keep saying I'm gonna get a I need to get a little thermometer or some kind of little temperature thing right from the Dollar Tree, just a thing that'll tell me what the temperature is inside there. It was so hot in there. I was thinking, okay, it'll get, 70 something, 80 something. No, it felt like I was in Arizona. I could not believe the heat trapped inside of that thing. And
right.
even though it's about maybe 4 or 5 levels high, ridiculous. And this thing is outside. So
Yeah.
it's not hermetically sealed or whatever.
Right.
Some air gets in there, but so it's a learning curve for me,
Yeah, it will be for me
um,
too, for sure. Yeah.
with this. Yeah.
Like, because some of those cold crops like to have a period of cold. Now, some of them are like, I mean, the seeds are in the basement, so it's cool anyway. So I'm hoping that that's enough for them to then
Hmm.
just wake up when they get outside. But also, I'm going to be putting them in bigger cups this time instead of starting them off tiny, because
Yeah.
the watering, you got to keep up on keeping that moisture in there. And
Yes.
definitely not the top of my priority list in the summertime. So that's the bigger containers. Possibly I'll have to start them indoors if that's the case where they don't want to come up because it's too hot for them. So I'll
Hmm.
give that like a week, because it doesn't take very long for the brassicas to come up in general. It's like 2 3 days and they pop up. So if they don't come up in the first week, then I know it's too hot for them. I have to start them inside and then bring them out. But yeah, it should be interesting with that situation.
Let me ask, so for those of you who are here with us in the chat, can you just tell me like your state and zone, or if you don't want to say the state, just say what zone, because I'm in Southern California, zone 10B/11A. I think if I started brassica seeds of any kind right now and going into July and August and September, it's too hot. I think for my area, I'm supposed to wait until like the end of August or September, like around Labor Day or something like that, because it gets so hot. But
Right.
in New York, you can start them now.
They'll go in the ground like, yeah, early August. So then they'll have that
Okay.
transitioning time in the heat still, but they'll survive. And then once they
But
get into the cooler
okay,
zone is when they'll be ready to harvest.
then it'll be okay. Now Mike is in zone 4 minutes. So Mike, do you plant broccoli, cauliflower, do you plant that outside? Um, and then what month? Like for like this time frame, like a summer planting, when would you plant um brassicas like during this time frame? And then Robin in Chicago, zone 5B, like the same question, like to everybody in the chat. So for let's say like a second planting of brassicas, when would you do that? Because I don't even if I did like a starter tray, like do the starts, it'll probably go from a seedling to bolting.
Right. Yeah.
It'll probably skip through the whole, it will skip through, it'll skip through the whole thing. And now that I know that the inside of my little greenhouse outside must get to about 100 and something, I feel so bad because I feel like I fried. I feel like I fried. I feel like I burnt my seedlings out.
Right.
I'm so I'm so sorry. I have to get a temperature, thing just so I can gauge. But see, for me, I feel like the only time that I would use my little greenhouse outside would be probably, I don't know, late December to maybe early February. Because even during those months, I still sow seeds outside and I get some germination. I have to do everything outside. I can't do anything inside at all. But this is my first year having this greenhouse. And I knew it got warm inside greenhouse, duh. But, I didn't know I was going to be cooking my seeds. I didn't know I was going to be doing that. So let's see. Mike says he starts everything at once in spring. I only got 90 to 120 days. So you don't do any like summer fall thing. You just do a spring, like spring sowing, and then that's it for the whole year. Is
Sounds
that what
like
you're
it.
saying, Mike? I don't want to put words in your mouth, but that's what it sounds like.
Yeah. Because at least like for me, two zones above him, is that how it works? Above six, zone six, New
Hmm.
York. Yeah, I get that. Like there's enough time between now and they, because they're good in frost, they can survive a few light frosts. Like we don't get heavy
Uh-huh.
frost till, maybe December. So they have
Okay.
a lot of time to really like,
Hmm.
what is it? Mature. That's it. Whereas, yeah,
Okay. Now,
zone Minnesota definitely gets hit hard in the winter.
yeah. Yeah. So Robin says mid-July,
Hmm.
for her. And then Mike says it snows early October
Yeah.
where he is. And I Minnesota, that yeah, I could see that. I could I could see it like from a distance. From I'm like I'm putting my coat on for you, in October. I can see it. Y'all, I do. I think I'm allergic. I think I'm allergic to cold weather. I think I am. But I have lived, not just visited, but I have lived in like very cold Midwest,
Ah,
area. So I know snow. I know like the hard, real like concrete snow. I
mm.
do. I know cold weather. I'm not just saying I don't like it, like just because I have experienced it and that's why. And then being born and raised in New Orleans where I feel like the winters are getting colder in the
There's
South in
been
New
more of
Orleans.
that. Yeah.
I do. I feel like they're getting a little bit colder. Hey, Miss Linda, how you doing?
Hey, Miss
Is it
Linda.
is it raining by you, Miss Linda? Cause I talked to my daddy about probably about 2 hours ago now. He said it was raining around the area. They just had a few drizzles, but a lot of rain coming around. Now Mike
Plus,
says I get June to end of September to grow. Oh wow, that's it. Oh, gee whiz. What you that's now it makes sense. I understand why you plant everything at one time and
Mhm.
then go through and that's it. But you have at least
Yeah,
two distinct,
I can have
planting
two seasons.
periods.
Yeah.
Hmm. Snow and Halloween. Is that typical for your area, Robin?
We get freak
And
snow
then
too around Halloween, but it's not like the sticking kind. It just comes and goes.
mhm.
Like, yeah. Plus, if you have the frost blanket, then you can skirt for a few more weeks.
So is there anything so you coming up, you are preparing now, like you said, for your fall and stuff. Do you foresee anything burning you out during that time period?
Oh, I haven't even begun to get fever, not hay fever or like ragweed allergies. Like
Mm,
allergies are hitting me like sporadically, especially when it rains because like I guess the spores are like alive or something's alive. Then I'm just like a
uh-huh.
mess of sneezing and I can't sleep because I can't breathe. So that's another thing that's burning me out is not getting enough sleep when when I have these allergy attacks. But
I'm on 3 hours of sleep from
oh,
last night.
oh my god.
But I'm packing in so many things, and I know what I don't get today gets added to the list tomorrow.
Yeah. Yep.
And I'm just, yeah, that's burning me out. That's burning me out. But I'm doing what I can. I'm doing what I can to try to like get through,
And
but it's a lot. So this is what happens to me, and this is not good. Like I'm not whatever, but I will go
Hmm.
for, 3, 4 weeks, couple months. And then my body will say, you know what? I am burning, I'm gonna burn you out to make you sit still and sleep and rest
Right.
and take a break. Because I
Hmm.
have burnt my body out, and my body is burning me out and saying, that's it. I'm not moving another inch. I'm not doing anything else. Like, you gonna stop, and that's it. You gonna stop.
Right.
So
Yeah. Well, what hasn't even begun to, well, it's just starting slowly, but the critters that, eat your produce, they've just begun to bother me, but they are going to be starting pretty soon to really, yeah.
that's now let me ask the chat. So as far as burnout with the critters, with this strange weather that we've been having all around the country, no matter where you are, it seems that there is some kind of funny weather stuff going on. Because I promise you, when I walk outside, I need like 3 pair of shades, or the sun is gonna blind me.
Hmm.
We have areas where it's super hot. We have areas where it's super rainy. Does that affect the pest that you have to deal with? Um, Maybe like earlier than normal, or
Right.
for an extended period.
Yep.
Um, yeah, in the chat, let us know about that. In here, probably because I ain't had nothing planted though. I I have had less pests, but I feel like now that my garden is starting to get going, I feel like, the pests are gonna come, and
Right.
and and they're gonna find it. When I was sifting soil, getting some stuff ready for my garden, I found a lot of grubs. I killed every
Mhm.
grub that I found. I know I didn't get all of them, but I killed as many grubs as possible, because those June beetles or
Mhm.
fig beetles, um, those things, I know that they can't bite. I know I'm not supposed to be scared. I know this, but when I hear those wings, y'all, I just the what is it? The flight, not look, not flight or fright. I got fright
Fight,
and
fight or
fright and
flight.
fright. Yeah, I fright and run. Y'all, I got a tennis racket outside. I'm ready for 'em. I got a tennis racket and a fly swatter. Pick your poison.
Yeah, we are seeing an uptick. It's called lanternfly. In the, I don't
Oh,
know if it's just an eastern coast or northeast area type thing, but it's a
uh-huh.
super invasive, and I don't know too much about it, but I know like the extension agencies and everybody says kill them, kill them, kill
Mhm.
them. There is no mercy for this particular
Oh, wow.
I don't know if it's a moth or what, or an insect. It flies obviously, but
Mhm.
and it's so pretty too. But it's so hard to catch, like most things that you're supposed to kill. It's like so hard to get
So
them.
does it attack like a certain plant, or does it
It does have
eat
a
everything?
favorite, but it seems to be like that the damage is so like catastrophic that you really don't want any of them at all. But I've seen so many little nymphs or whatever they call them, the babies, but
Uh-huh.
it's just so hard to get them. They are very, very like avid at escaping.
So
So
what's
that
your treatment? What do you do?
well, they haven't just prescribed like any. You just have to squash them or like find the eggs
Mhm.
before they hatch. So far, there hasn't been like a pesticide because then you'd be killing everything. So
But
they
then
don't.
you, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
never recommend that. So it's
Now,
been.
I'm sorry. Robin said she got 21 tomato varieties and 29 plants. So she gonna have harvest, canning, and preserving burnout.
Yep, I see that. That's so true.
And then Miss Linda said, I keep my garden clean, so there is no hiding areas. I make sure my dead leaves are off my plants. Those things will attract insects to your garden. That is so true. I just trimmed up some of my tomato plants, and all of those, the leaves and everything, I made sure I gathered all of them together, and I put them in the green trash can, because here in California we have three trash cans. We have a black one for regular trash, We have a blue one for recycling, and then we have a green one for like yard rate waste, plant materials, things like that. And you better put everything in like the right can or else. So yeah,
Right.
when I prune the vegetables and just whatever, prune my trees and all of that, I make sure that I get that up off the ground and get it into the bin, because you're right, them little bugs will hide everywhere that you let them.
Oh, one thing that the heat, like we had a good amount of rain, but for some reason this has not been, knock on wood, slug season for
Hmm.
us. So that is one thing that I've seen less of, is the slugs in my area. How about you,
I
Robin?
was reaching
How's everybody else's
I
slug?
was reaching for my water bottle, and is way over there because I feel myself getting thirsty.
But yeah, those beetles are coming.
Hmm.
I just bought that surround kale and clay stuff. And I know it's hit or miss. Some people do well with them and some people don't. So, but I got it. Try my luck at it.
So did you get it
Um,
from Amazon?
no, I found a
Oh,
cheaper one.
see that. So okay, Miss Gail from, what's her channel? Peach Tree or Peach something. She was talking about, I believe she was specifically talking about that surround
Mhm.
WP
Yeah, yeah.
clay. But then Broke Farmer, I think he tried like another brand, or it was still kale and clay, but
Yeah,
it wasn't the surround WP, or is it WP surround, one of them.
yeah.
But he tried it too, but I just watched one of her videos. I don't know how old it was, because when I click to watch videos, I don't necessarily look at the most recent one. I just click like whatever one come up. So it could been this year, could been last year or whatever. But she has, I don't know if it was an okra plant. No, it was an eggplant. And when I first looked at the video, because I was looking at it on my television and I wasn't really like listening, I just looked up and I saw this plant with like all this. I was like, is this a winter video? Like, how far back am I going in my feed? But no, it's because she had, covered the whole
But
plant,
yeah.
top, and she said she made sure she got underneath as much as
Mhm.
possible, and she
Right,
noticed no like new bites or no new attack points
right.
since she had used that kale and clay.
Yeah, I'm
So
excited. I'm really hoping, because the squash vine borer, yeah, is definitely a nemesis that's coming up. So
mhm.
I want to get to it before it gets to me.
Now what do you use for that? Because I've heard that once they bore into the plant, like that's pretty much it. But can you treat the plant? Can you like save it with
You have
something?
It's all very like surgical, because you have to inject the stem with the BT, or you got to cut the
Mhm.
stem and get the grub out, and then seal up the stem. It's just like so
That's
much,
yeah.
to save these plants. It's ridiculous.
Hmm. Now, Miss Linda said that she used copper tape for
For
snails.
snails,
Now,
yeah.
I've heard about copper tape, even copper mesh. You know how like the Brillo pad, but
Mhm.
it's copper,
All
and you
right.
can use the mesh. You can use like copper, almost like it's tape, but almost like a collar, because you can use that for trees too.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, if you have some issues. Yo, I gotta say this right quick, because like I said, my brain, I will forget. I went to a citrus orchard. This was like a couple months ago, and the trunk of about 90% of the trees, the entire trunk all the way around, full of snails.
Oh, wow.
I mean, it was like a decoration, like they were supposed to be there. The whole, I mean, like maybe 12 to 18 inches all the way around,
Wow.
full of snails. And I asked the guy, and I was like, well, is there a treatment? I'm looking at like 50 trees and all of them full of snails. So if they have treatment, whatever they use is not working. And he said, after the citrus tree reaches a certain maturity, like they don't even worry about treating, because like
Oh,
the
okay.
tree can handle the pest
Oh,
pressure. But you cannot see the trunk, the entire trunk, 360 degrees all the way around, I mean, and they were packed in like sardines next to
Wow.
each other. The
Wow.
whole, it was so gross. Oh my goodness, it was
Yeah,
so gross. I
that's
took a picture
disturbing.
of it. I think I might have deleted the picture because I couldn't look at it. But I wonder if they tried like copper tape, but you probably would have to do that like at the first sighting or something
Yeah,
like that.
right.
Yeah. Yeah, Miss Linda talk about the kale and clay coming off with the rain. Yeah. But see, that's why I think so things like diatomaceous earth, the kale and clay, that's probably something that would work for me if I needed it. And the
Mhm.
only thing I would have to worry about is when I watered my plants, not
Right.
to,
Overhead.
rinse off the clay or the
Yeah.
diatomaceous earth. Yeah. So what's the difference between the squash beetle and the squash vine borer?
Well, the beetle just lays its, like, the grubs eat the leaves, as far as I can have seen in my plants, whereas the vine borer goes into the stem of the plant and eats it from the inside.
Oh,
Yeah, it's all
it
disgusting. It's
makes
so
my stomach hurt just thinking about it.
disgusting.
Just now, Chris has the idea, kind of like
Yeah,
succession sowing or succession planning. So you'll always have a fresh, new, up and coming, plant that would
that only works
hopefully,
for things like
you know.
zucchini and cucumber. A watermelon, you're one and done, or a winter squash, it's one and done. So there's,
Mm-hmm,
you only have so much. You can either leave it to nature and just plant what you can and you're supposed to, or
mm-hmm.
you experiment and you buy all these things so that you can have that extra thing that you maybe shouldn't.
That now, see, that's a burnout. Trying to outpace the pest,
Right.
especially when it seems like it's a losing battle. Now, Chris
Oh,
say if
that's
you
one of
can't
the
beat them,
things.
eat them. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry. I'm
No.
just Chris. You talking about eat the
Yeah.
snails? Are we doing escargot? This not France. Now I don't know. I might not be able to do that.
Right.
Oh, but go
Oh,
ahead,
one of the
Joy. I'm sorry.
burnout things was like I planned on sifting soil because I have like extra soil mounds in my yard, but I'm like, no way. I started buying soil in bags. I feel like such a loser, such a failure of a
Hmm.
gardener because I'm buying soil when I have soil. But I was just like, I don't have
Well,
time
I
to sift
mean,
that stuff. I have to just buy it.
that's what I was gonna say. Sometimes it's a convenience. Sometimes
Yeah,
it's a convenience thing.
right.
Because you have materials at home, whatever it is. But if you have to process those materials in any kind of way, sometimes, depending on the situation, you like, man, I'm gonna just go to the store. I'm gonna
Yep.
just buy it. It's ready made. It's ready prepared. I just gotta like open a bag and dump it,
Yep.
and I'm good. Now let's see. The beetles eat the leaves and the roots. Lays 1,000 red eggs. Oh, no, that's too much. That's mm-mm.
Yep.
See now, but so does whole now the only so the smaller bugs or the soft body bugs spraying with water, well, small and soft body.
Hmm.
I've read that you have a better success rate with that than some of the larger bugs that can come back, climb back on the plant. Because if you spray an aphid, technically you would think it would drown them and kill them. And so, like that specific aphid might not come back, but like 5,000 of his brothers and sisters and children and aunts and uncles and grandparents, might come back. But I would start with that though. I would rather do a hosing off, something mechanical,
Yeah.
hosing off. I would say picking, but y'all, somebody else picking off, something like that. Just try like the least like chemically reactive thing possible. But
Mhm.
sometimes you gotta work your way up.
Yeah.
Just that process of thinking of all what I have to go through, and that's a burnout. That's a burnout. But Joy, come on now. What can we do? Chat, help us out.
We
How
haven't
can
gotten
we
to that.
make it, how can we make it through the rest of the season? Because for me, I mean, I got all the way till December. Like I
Uh,
I still have the whole rest of the year. Like I can grow. I mean, like from seed. I can sow seeds 12 months out of the year. and grow stuff. Now,
So
I'm
for
probably not
you,
gonna do that this year.
for
Yeah,
you,
so
you need
what
a vacation. You at least can have a vacation.
vacation. I like that. That is a vacation, a rest. A rest and a break. Or some kind of um even a pause in between seasons or in
Yeah.
between harvests. Just to give myself a break. But I'm still looking though. Like every day I'm looking. Even if I don't go out and do like a full garden walkthrough, I'm
Hmm.
still always looking. Even when I don't have anything planted, I'm still looking.
Well, that's good.
I
But
can't
but
help
you're
it.
looking at
I
it
can't
like
help
with a
it.
peaceful mind of like, how are my plants doing? Not what am I killing right now?
Or I'm gonna be out here for 7 more hours today. Let me just bring my backpack of Gatorade and some trail mix. I
Right.
was out there for 7 hours yesterday, but the time
Wow.
passed so fast. What I did was I brought my phone, I turned on my Spotify,
Hmm.
listened to some music. I had my water bottle, and you just start going, and I say, okay, my plan is to do this one thing, and the one thing turned into like seven things, of which none is the first thing. Um, it does burn me out, but
Mhm.
not until after I come back inside after having been out there, for the 7 hours.
Right. Well, it's a personality too. Like you can just you are who you are. So no matter how
That's
much
true.
advice people give you, you're still gonna do what you're gonna do.
That's true. It's good to take breaks though. My doctor told me that I need to take breaks. I shouldn't be out there for such long, because literally I will go out there at 8 or 9 o'clock in the morning, and it's 5 or 6 o'clock,
Mhm.
and that's when I'm coming inside because I'm in the zone. Like,
Right.
I know that it's not the healthiest thing. For my physical body, I need to take rest. I need to eat. I need to take a break. But I'm in the zone, and I'm just going from one little project to the next, to the next, to the next, to the next. And I get burnt out, but I don't feel the burnout until I get inside
Right.
and I sit down.
Yeah.
And then the first time I try to get up because my feet is broke.
Yep.
My my feet is broke. I can't even walk. But I mean, by that time, I'm already out there
Right.
for
Right.
all of the hours. Now they got a lot of recommendations and stuff. I see talking about the copper tape. We still talking about the bugs. Somebody said try the vacuum.
Hmm.
Uh, Ms. Linda said that's our world, buying for convenience. This is why many people don't cook. They just go to the restaurant or buy already cooked food.
True.
You know what? I would agree with that, but I would say as gardeners, because we growing our own food and we tasting, we eat what you grow. I know that's somebody's channel. Um, you can tell the difference. And I think as gardeners, I think we are apt to cook, more apt to cook at home. But if you don't grow, or if you don't garden, or if you're not around people that grow and garden, I think that can contribute to you, like you say, for convenience, going out to the restaurant, buying already cooked food. But you can tell a difference. I picked some blueberries off of my sharp blueberry just the other day, and those things are small. It's just how it is. That variety of blueberry is very small, but it was so good. And then I had some blueberries in the refrigerator. Got it from grocery store, much larger,
Mhm.
much prettier,
Right.
whatever. And those things, they taste like blue water, you know. But I only had like a handful of blueberries on the sharp blue. So
Right.
after I had, that nice, delicious taste, like it was gone. But it's a first year plant. So, you know,
Well, another thing that keeps me going is more work, basically. It's like I'm planning like what am I gonna be like transplanting. I have some plants that are failing in areas like perennials, not like annuals, perennials that I'm like, this isn't working here.
mhm.
So I'm planning, all right, this has to be moved. Where am I gonna move it? So like
Mhm.
For me, planning feeds my drive to move forward, because it's like I have a goal at the end that I have to accomplish that. So that's part of my like burnout remedy, is to have a future goal, not something you have to do right now, but just something you're mentally
Mhm.
preparing for down the line.
You know what?
Right.
And I find a lot of people like during the winter months where a lot of people are not actually gardening or even
Yeah.
starting seeds, they're planning.
Yes.
So or buying seeds or looking
Yeah.
through the catalogs, but they're planning, they're actively, like you say, for a future,
Hmm.
goal, a future task, not something to do today, but okay, planning out your garden. That is, and it is motivating. It is, when I get those magazines, it's almost like a kid in a candy store. I flip through all of the pages. Do you remember in school we used to get like these little pamphlets, maybe it was like 4 or 5 pages, but anyway,
Yeah.
it was for books. And so
Yeah.
it's like scholastic
Yes. It-
something, or whatever. And so, your teacher would give it to you, I would take it home first. I had to do all my homework and my chores first. Now don't play. But after that, I mean, instead of watching cartoons, I
Mhm.
would flip through the pages of those that, I would circle a book that I want. Cause my mom, yeah, my mom would say, okay, you have, $5. And somehow, like for $5, back then I could
Right,
get
back then.
a whole bunch of books,
Yeah.
or whatever. But I would go through, circle the ones I wanted, star the ones I really wanted, and on the back page, I would fill out the little thing.
Order
You put
form,
the
yeah.
the book code and the name, and and how much it costs, and I subtract and divide. Man, I was doing schoolwork. I was doing math. I was reading comprehension, like I was, working with money. All of that kind of stuff. But it did motivate me, getting back to the gardening and
Right.
not being burnt out. It did motivate me and it gave me something to look forward to
Mhm.
and not just um, oh my God, whatever negative
Right.
thing. This was something positive.
And
So
speaking of trees, like, I look
Miss
forward to
Linda has a
ordering fall
oh go
trees.
ahead, go ahead.
Like fall trees and
Oh, tell
fall
us about that.
shrubs. That's too long a list. I can't do it now.
Oh,
That'll be another show.
but what trees would okay, that sound like a show. Cause fall trees, ordering trees for the I have never heard of that. And I'm intrigued. I am motivated. I'm looking forward. I do because I want to know about it. Miss Linda says, how long have you all been growing a home garden? Uh as an adult?
Right.
I would say like my probably like my whole adult life. But as a kid though, um, I would take the red beans out the bag. Like maybe some of the bad ones that my mama, they wasn't good for the pot, but they was good to plant. And I did that as a little kid.
Mm.
My grandmother, who she is officially 101 years old.
Wow, nice.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. She yeah, I got a lot of my um just like gardening, whatever you want to call it, from her. I feel like it's in my DNA almost. And I would go with her, out into her garden, even as a young kid. But I don't want to shout out too many numbers and stuff or whatever, but I would say decades.
Mhm.
I've been growing a home garden for decades. I have lived different places, and everywhere I have lived, I have grown a garden of some size, of some sort,
Right.
all different, temperatures and climates and this and that. I was about to say I feel like I'm addicted to it, but it's not even that. It's just that I really feel like it's part of my DNA. Like I was born to garden.
Mhm.
Yeah. Okay, we ain't
Nice.
gonna get too deep now because that was feeling a little heavy. Let's lighten it up, Joy. How long you been growing your home garden?
Well, if you want an in-depth, we did a live about this a few months ago. So go check that out.
Hey, hey.
But yeah, on and off, I've had some kind of garden, like the small ones for sure, because those spaces were smaller, and I didn't have the, you know, the mental capacity to be just gardening. And like at one
Mhm.
point, maybe I had one of those aero garden kits, so I just grew, you know, the little dwarf tomato and the little dwarf basil or whatever. But
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, it's always been something that was important to me to have my own, that I made it, that I grew it, and it always tasted better than anything. Like even the simple little dwarf hydroponic tomato is so much better than anything I would have ever bought at the
That's
store.
right. And I can tell you, so Miss Linda, if you watch some of her videos, now her garden videos all off the chain, all that kind of stuff. But see, when she cook with that food out her garden, baby, I'll be salivating. I'm like, Miss Linda, can I get a plate? Can I get some? And I've seen other gardeners. Mike, I think Mike put out a few dishes from some stuff that he was growing like hydroponically. I've seen him, show us a meal or two. Like I'm not in that space to really show. Well, I ain't got nothing growing right now though, but I do definitely eat what I grow. There are gardeners who grow just for the sake of growing, and they go through all of the burnout. They go through the whole process, and you might see the harvest, but then there's nothing after that. Um, that's not me. I eat. I eat what I grow. I eat. I donate to the local community. I share with the community garden, like with the people in the community garden. But I definitely, yeah, I eat what I grow. But that is a thing though, where people just, it's just the process, or the whatever it is of just growing the
Mhm.
food.
That
But
can
then
burn
at
you out too.
harvest, like that's the end. I think
Right.
that would burn me out. But see, I'm too greedy to grow it, like just to be growing it. No, I have to. Nah, I gotta eat it. So Joy, we are healthily past the hour mark. Um, but you know what? I think this was important to talk about. Just like the last live stream we had, and we talked about garden gripes. And I mean, it was gripes, but to me, it's things that I think a lot of people experience, but it's almost like it's taboo to say it out loud,
Mhm.
and on social media, where the internet lives forever. So I can't take back, you know, what I said, which I won't, because I'm just that kind of person. But I feel like it's okay to discuss the less than, home and garden, front page magazine
Right.
type garden stuff. It's important because I feel like some of these topics, some of these comments, what we see, reading in the chat, is going to speak to somebody. And it
Yeah.
could be a new gardener, it could be a seasoned gardener, it could be, somebody just going through a tough time with a particular aspect of their garden, just to know that you're not alone, and that it's something that many, I'm not going to say all, because we do have some perfect gardeners that just don't
Right.
nothing go wrong, yeah. But but I think it's important for us to say it out loud in the public, but
Yeah.
not just to say the gripe or to say the burnout, but like we did in the last live stream, and like we're doing now, also talk about a solution, or a resolution, or something positive, like the light at the end of the tunnel for what we might be going through. I think that's very important. That's why, you and I, we make sure that we try to, you know, end on a positive note, or
Right.
bring a positive aspect to a challenge, because I believe in acknowledging the challenge. Don't just, number one, don't pretend it doesn't exist. And then don't just blow through it, or brush past it. Acknowledge it. Let's see what's going on here. And then, let's come up with a solution. Let's get out of this thing. Let's not stay in it.
Right.
So, and I feel like we do that. I do. I feel like we do that. Um, let's see. Oh, New Orleans, no New Orleans food. Oh, I know that's right. I can't wait to go home. I can't wait to go home. Let's see. I'm just putting up some of the comments because I know I was a little slow on my game today with posting the comments, but I was reading them. Hey, Miss Shirley,
Hi,
how
Miss
you doing?
Shirley.
In the bushes. You know what? I hope you staying hydrated and I hope you taking breaks.
Yes.
But we definitely appreciate you stopping in. Miss Joy, that's all that I have for today's live stream where we talked about a lot of stuff. We talked about the burnout. We talked about different types of burnout, different things that will burn you out. Um, but we also talked about how to get through the burnout. We appreciate all of the comment, the interaction
Yes.
from the chat. You all with each other and with us. We definitely appreciate it. I'm still trying to get somebody to come up on the live. I promise y'all, I got it right this time. I had the let me see. Let's see where is it, y'all? I had it here. I believe I put it in the chat. I did. I think I put it in there
Yeah,
at
that's
least
how I
one
got in
time.
and through the chat because I was having so
Yeah.
much trouble.
Precious, how you doing? How you
Hey,
doing? I'm so
Precious.
glad that you stopped by. We can ready to roll out right now, but if you have something quick that you want to tell us about gardener burnout, like one gardener burnout like issue or whatever, and then how you got through it, please let us know. Put it in the chat, or you can come up on the live stream and just tell us about it. We definitely appreciate it, y'all. And just in case, if this is your first live stream, or if you missed us because we did take a break for that last 2 weeks, we try to do this live stream every other Monday. So every 2 weeks, we do it on Monday, and it's normally either around 10 to 11ish a.m. Pacific time, or like we did today, 1 p.m. Pacific time, and then +2 for Central time, +3 for Eastern time. So we trying to do this every 2 weeks. Now, it's getting busy though,
Yeah.
especially, for Joy. I mean, I'm still at the seedling stage, y'all, but that's burning me out. But we try to do this every 2 weeks. We definitely appreciate you being here. If you're here for the live stream, if you're here for the replay, we appreciate you. Y'all spread out the word. Spread out the word about our live stream. We each have our YouTube channels. Let me go ahead because I'm slow on my own game. Let's put this out here. Here's Joy's contact information. And y'all, she has 2 YouTube channels. So she has Joy of the Home and Garden, but please, Joy Unhinged. I think it's Joy Dash
Yeah.
Unhinged. Y'all, please, please go to that channel. Please, please go to that channel. It is
So
very
now I have to
entertaining.
post more
It's
stuff.
very entertaining. And now she gotta post more stuff, but y'all please. So she has 2 channels. And then you see her email information there. I just have the one channel. Oh, Joy is also on other platforms. So
I
tell
have
us about
Rumble
that, Joy,
and
while
yeah.
we roll out.
Hey, give Precious the link. Can you
Where
repost
is
the link for
there
Precious?
it is. Oh yeah, let's see. I can do that. Hold
Mhm.
on. Y'all look, now I'm messing up now. Hold up. Here it is. Here it is. Let's try to get this in here. Okay. All right. All right. So there's the link. But yeah, so please, follow Joy on her channels, on her different platforms. I'm only on YouTube. So I was really thinking about just having like a mirror channel on Rumble, just because of some of the issues that I have been having and that I kind of foresee myself having with YouTube. I'm not going to like close out my YouTube channel. I'm not going to do that, but I was thinking about having Rumble as a backup. If I ever do that, I'll definitely let everybody know. Yep, and then all of my other information and stuff is at the bottom there. So that is all I have, y'all. And I'm sitting here trying to click things and put stuff on and get the banner straight and all of that. Joy, take us out before I embarrass myself.
Well, you think
Further than.
Precious will come up? Give her a few more.
Oh yeah, hold on. Yeah, I wanna wait. I wanna wait a few minutes. Let me see. Up. Hey.
Hey.
Awesome.
How you doing, Precious?
Hey. Oh, you can. I have a background.
Thank you so much for
you can see
what you got?
toilet paper.
What is that,
Oh,
toilet paper?
But we know you're ready though. We know that you're ready.
I always laughed during the pandemic because I was like, who's walking around with no toilet paper? Because we always been like this. I didn't understand that.
Yeah.
I said, and who's not washing their hands? I said, why you got to tell people to wash their hands?
Why exactly? And it still was just a funny thing for me how a respiratory, illness caused people to get the toilet tissue. Because the problem is up here, but you getting something for back here.
One of my friends said, well, that's why I got a bidet. And I'm like, I have a bidet, but I still need toilet paper to dry myself off. So what? So you just gonna wash yourself with the bidet and then walk around wet? I don't.
Air dry, just air dry. You don't want to touch nothing. You just fan it till it dry.
That's right. Mike said, "Stay ready." I'm like, who's walking up? Me and my mom was sitting here like, why they ain't got no toilet paper? What's wrong with people? Yes. Oh,
so
burnout.
tell us about your garden burnout.
Well, I'll say from like the end of 23 to mid 24, I was out on medical leave for stress and stuff, and I was at the point where I couldn't even really go in the yard. Like I couldn't even look at the garden. And I was talking to my therapist. She said, Precious, try to do one thing. Try to do a small garden bed because the garden really just bring me relief. But I think with burnout, because I felt it at sometimes, if you do too much, some people try to do too much. And you really should start off slow. Like I started off with a veggie pod, and then I got some old tires and spray painted them and things like that. And now I could be in my garden all day. You just have to know when to take a break. You have to know your limits and stick by those limits, because you can get burnt out real.
Well, I'm just trying to see why you got to call me out though. I'm just, I mean, I feel like I'm being targeted. No, but you are absolutely right, and I especially I say especially, but a caveat, new gardeners, because it can be exciting. Oh yes, I'm gonna grow this and I'm gonna grow this and I like this and I like that, and I saw this device or this tool, this soil, this fertilizer, and you spend a massive amount of money to start this new thing that's exciting to you.
Yes.
And now you stuck with, when the credit card bill come through, because it's 30 days later, right? The credit card bill come through and you see, like your tomato plant have one leaf on it, and Mike's squirrels and, Miss Linda snails and, all this, came and ate up all your little stuff. So you're right. Start small. And even as seasoned gardeners too, sometimes, we just, we get that garden bug.
Yeah. You just need even from your garden, you need a break. I do a little bit of succession planting, but not like most, because I really try to stay within my seasons. And especially summer season I tend to preserve everything, like my collard greens, my broccoli in the fall. And I'm really big with my tomatoes. I make tomato sauce, I make salsa, I make all this stuff. So I kind of stick to it. But when I see the season is up, I start pulling stuff out and I let the garden beds rest for a minute. And that's a way to also let me rest from having So you also have to choose times to kind of take a break from it. I start pulling it. That's the easiest part of gardening, is pulling everything out. You just yank it, pull it.
See, that's why I don't get no rest, Precious, because if it's green, oh, I have a tomato plant right now. I pulled all of the cherry tomatoes off it. It is literally just the stems and like a few leaves, but it is still green. I know if I leave it in that bucket long enough, it's gonna grow some more cherry tomatoes, even though I have about an 18-inch tall replacement plant that's ready to go in the pot. So I need to pull it. That's why I harvested all of the cherries.
Yeah.
But it's green. It's green.
Let it go. Wait a minute. What did Mama say? She said, "You let it go." You gotta let it go.
I try. Maybe if I turn my head and yank it up,
pull it.
You know, but I can't do that though, because I gotta be looking for the spiders though, because they might, I can't. But you're right though. If you pull up the stuff and you let the garden rest, then it's almost like you have no choice but to rest.
Yeah. I mean, I'll still have seedlings. I go out there, check on my seedlings, but I look at that garden bed. I'm like, okay, let's let that soil rest for a minute. Just let it rest. And I also notice when I let it rest and there's nothing in there, like the gophers are not. They're like, there's no food here. That's right. There ain't no food for you. Go away. So you let that garden bed rest, let that soil rest, and then give it a couple of weeks, and then go back in there and amend your soil, put fresh soil and stuff in there. Sometimes you need that rest. Mm-hmm. The plants need the rest and you need it. So when I'll say around September, I'll probably start pulling out the tomato plants and the eggplants and stuff, letting it rest, because I know in October, my onions, my beets, my garlic, all of my leafy vegetables are going to start going in there. So that gives me a rest, and that gives the garden a rest from me, from tilling and digging. And then, when you're doing something all the time and stuff don't work out the way it do, because stuff can go sideways in the garden, you don't get frustrated and just want to quit. So give yourself that break. I didn't post a video yet. I was supposed to go back outside in the evening and put all my little herbs. I put on the video. I was like, yeah, I didn't go back outside. I didn't. I just got to post the video. I was like, yeah. I was like, I'm done.
It's hot though. Yeah. I'm looking at the sun now, about to blind me through the blinds, through the house, through the window. And I do have to go outside today. I have like one thing I had to finish. I tried to finish it yesterday. It didn't work out, so I have to finish it today. And I will.
Don't do nothing else.
That's just that one thing. And we talked about that too, because that's another thing that'll burn you out. You going to do one thing, and I said I ended up doing 7 things, and none of the 7 things was the one.
Yep. I do that. So, I'll be saying on the video, I'm gonna do this, and then at the end of the video, I'll be like, I did this and that, and I didn't do what I was supposed to do. It happens all the time. I wanted, because I see T-Nog in the chat. So yesterday, I went and I fertilized everything with my super juice. That took me about an hour. I swear to God, my loofah plants are literally, they look like an inch or 2 taller today.
I believe it.
Juice. That super juice works. I'm seeing strawberries on my strawberry plants. That super juice work. I did about 4 or 5 scoops, and then I filled it up with water. And I looked at that loofah. I said, "You were not that tall yesterday." I said, "That's that super juice, and it's real old. That super juice been sitting in the bucket for over a year."
What do you have? What's part of your super juice recipe?
Oh, just old stuff, probably greens, old leaves, old tomatoes, stuff that, that went bad. I just threw it in and I have 2 buckets, because I was, I used to really every week, like I really got down to half a bucket yesterday after I got through fertilizing everything. So I have 2 buckets of super juice. Man, that's super juice work. And then I have to go wash my clothes. I got some super juice.
Yeah.
And I was like,
that's disgusting.
The washing machine.
I spilled some on my tennis shoes yesterday.
Ooh.
And them tennis shoes is outside.
That's
them tennis shoes outside.
You got to give rain boots, because rain boots you could just.
Oh yeah.
And
off.
Guess what? And I do. Guess what? They right there by the door. But I went outside. I went outside to do the one thing.
Right.
That was not any kind of fertilizer, not fertilizer granules, not fertilizer juice. Politics said compost tea. Yeah, compost tea. Super juice. Yeah, we talking about compost tea.
Yeah, compost tea.
Yeah.
Mike said, I had the stink in my nose.
It was following me. I was like somewhere else. I'm like, why do I smell that stuff? I'm like, oh crap. I probably smell like
it's on my tennis shoes, and them tennis shoes are outside.
Yeah.
So those tennis shoes and my gloves and stuff like that, I need to wash them. But I soak them first outside to kind of like, dilute. I don't put that stuff like straight in my washing machine.
Yeah.
I can't. No. I can't do that.
My gardening, because I wear garden sleeves. I'm always switching colors. And then I have the apron on. What I have is an old bathrobe that has pockets in it, because I need pockets.
Pockets,
yeah. The apron on, because I got the chickens. I be getting eggs and stuff. And then I put everything to the side. By the end of the week, I was like, psh, and I had just washed all that, and I got super juice on it. It went right back in the washing machine.
Right, yeah.
Again.
Yeah, you can't. Yeah, you can't. That's like getting sprayed by a skunk.
Yes. Yeah. I was like, that was nasty. I was like, but I had that ladle, and I was like, dang it. And I was trying to pour, and then some of it poured out. I was like, oh.
And you can't, like, if it's one drop, like yeah.
Oh, Mama Linda said, I smell it for about an hour, and then it's gone. I was like, oh, my mom's like, what is that? I was like, don't worry about it. In the washing machine.
I'm gonna take care of it, Mama. I'm gonna take care of it.
She's like, what did you just bring in this house? What's going on? I'm like,
nothing.
Sorry. Nothing. I didn't do nothing.
Well, thank you so much for coming up and sharing your garden burnout. And did you say so? Like, how do you get through it? So you said take a break. Anything else that you want to share on that, so we can close it out with something positive? So you said start small.
Take breaks whenever you need it, and think of it as you and the garden having a break. Let your garden beds have a break, and then you take a break too, and then start back up. That also gives you time, if you want to plan, to think about what you want to do, because your garden is always a work in progress. I'm always changing things, moving things. And so, but take a break from the physical work, because if you don't, you will get burnt out. Take a vacation. I go to Arizona, and I have my neighbor Marcos feed the chickens. Just walk away from it. Especially, I'm gonna tell you this: when you're in the garden and something's going well, it's kind of like at work. Like when you do something really good at work and it's almost the end of the day, stop. You don't want to leave on a bad note. That's the same with your garden. You don't want to leave. If something's going really good, stop. And then leave on that good note. And then the next day or the next 2 days, then start up again. But to me, gardens are wonderful. So start small, take breaks when you need it from the garden, and then always end on a good positive note. Don't end on something like, man, look at all them aphids. Like, I was frustrated with the chick. I was looking at them baby chicks yesterday. I was like, I swear to God, I will put you out with the hawks. And I said, I love the baby chicks. I love those baby chickens so much. That's what I had to tell myself, because they was looking at me, and I was like, watch when you graduate to college and get in that cage. Just you watch. The pecking order ain't gonna be the same.
The pecking order. Yep, that's what I was thinking. The pecking order.
Yeah. And I try to keep, and I say, Precious, end it on a good note. Give them their food. And I was like, don't pluck one. Don't pluck them and put them in the oven, because they meat birds.
Oh, well, look, my daddy had like 6 or 7 chickens, hens, and one rooster. And now all he have is one rooster.
Oh.
He got he got one rooster. That's it.
So he
All,
don't got no
all
eggs.
of the hens are gone.
Do they
But he
freeze
don't got
some?
no eggs now. He got to start all over again. That's the only reason why I was looking at them. I was like, October, y'all better be giving me some good eggs. And every time they'll be like real quiet and they come in there, they be like, let us out. I'm like, okay, you keep asking for it. The cage is coming. The cage is coming. But that's it. That's all the advice I could give on.
That was awesome.
Burnout.
Thank you.
Well, we definitely appreciate you coming up and sharing that, and ending it out on a positive note. We definitely appreciate that. And with that, y'all, because we are at an hour and 40 minutes.
Oh,
But it was worth it though. This was good. I love it. But y'all know me. I got to run off to do the very next thing. But I gave myself some extra time today. Today I have it. Most days I don't. But
Right.
today I had it, and I'm glad that we spent this extra time, because to me it's another important topic. And then Joy, what did you say? So the next 2 weeks, the live stream will be on Joy's channel. So make sure you subscribe to her channel, Joy of the Gardening Home, because that's where the next live stream will be. We swap off every 2 weeks. And did you have a topic for us, Joy, or is it a surprise?
Surprise!
Surprise! All right, surprise. So make sure you subscribe to her channel. Like I said, she has 2 YouTube channels. So Joy of the Gardening Home and Joy Dash Unhinged. Make sure you subscribe to both of those channels. But the live stream will be on Joy of the Gardening Home.
Yeah.
So
thank you.
All right, Joy, close this out.
What?
Bye.
Bye.
Nah, Joy, you gotta close us out.
Oh, I forgot.
Because you got your little your thing, your little deal.
I
I
forget
like
this
it.
stuff. I'm so out of practice. We can't do these like once a month things. All right. Well, everybody be safe out there. Keep hydrated. And I will get back to you soon with another video. So we'll harvest more. Bye.
Bye.